So if it's okay, we'll just make a little start. Ruby, are you okay to start off, if that's okay? And all I'm just gonna ask what, if you can tell us the name of your film, how it came to be, and something maybe that you'd like audiences, to know about it, or just something insightful about the filmmaking process for you.
Okay. So my film is called The Mermaid and the Artist, and it's about a young artist who's very lonely and uninspired and sees a mermaid in Brighton Sea and becomes obsessed by her image. And it's kind of exploring the male gaze theory, and looking at the female body as an objectified muse through artwork. And I did a lot of my own artwork in the piece and animation as well. And you kind of go between like an animated world and real world. And it switches between dreams and nightmares. And I just, to be honest, wanted to create something magical on screen, and also to explore my kind of fascination and determination to bring feminism to the screen and a discussion about gender. So there was something that I wanted. I was really, really inspired by pre-Raphaelite art. And I went to see a really interesting exhibition about the pre-Raphaelite sisters in London. So that's kind of where it emerged from.
Brilliant. That's super to hear, and very much a powerful message as well, that comes across. And when did you complete filming and complete it? Were you working on it during lockdown, or was it all finished before that all hit?
It was, well, I literally, the whole thing came about in lockdown. So the writing, the filming, I wrote it very quickly, and I had a DP, and then it didn't work out, so I ended up having another DP, and then he turned around to me and he was like, should we just do it? Should we just film it? And so we just did it, which was great. And it all happened in my house pretty much, apart from the stuff on the beach. But all of the inside stuff was in my cellar. So I kind of lived in the filming of it for 3 days. I kind of became the obsessive artist for a while, producing lots and lots of work. And so it was very quick, and then I edited it in about seven weeks, and that was including like composing music, editing, color grading, which I did all from my little trusty laptop, which I'm on today. So it was all very DIY, and it was an amazing experience. It was really, really, really great. So yeah.
Well, congratulations. And, when you hear all of that and hear the background to it, it's incredible because, yes, lockdown meant that you had more time at home, but obviously there was a lot more challenges and normal life was not as we all knew it. So I think to actually produce something of this standard is to be commended. And you certainly put all your energies into producing something really creative and being so productive in lockdown. So well done. That's brilliant. Thank you. Brilliant. Okay, Frank, you're very welcome. If you can introduce your film and just tell us a little bit about how that came to be, and perhaps if you had any challenges along the way.
Well, my one, it kind of started, the idea for it started in my second year at uni, which was early 2019. We came up with kind of what we wanted to do for our third and final year at uni. So the third year would be making that film that you come up with in second year. I wanted to make something quite ambitious. It's about an alien who's found in the desert and then taken into a government lab, and that's where the film starts, and you kind of watch him grow up, and you kind of watch what they do with him how life treats him, and then kind of how that changes him and what he it's kind of about life kind of getting him down, everything being taken from him, and then him having to find like the strength and power within himself that he has, which makes him different because he's an alien and he's got supernatural abilities, and he kind of uses that to escape or try to escape everything that's getting him down in the hopes for a better life, because he's kind of stuck in this lab his entire life. And the actual animation stage was done all in lockdown, but the production started last October. So that was where I started modeling, rigging the characters, making the sets, everything like that. And because of lockdown, there was a lot of free time. So that was kind of lucky for me, because I had a lot of late nights where I could just work on it. And it ended up being longer than I'd planned. It was meant to only be about 4 minutes, 5 minutes, but ended up being closer to 8 or 9. But
for me is that, yeah, as you say, you had more time, and perhaps if lockdown hadn't have happened, it could have been that 3-4 minute film, but you were able to develop it then because of that. That's incredible. And then with the, you know, I know you said you had the initial idea back, you know, when you were at uni, but did it take a long time to sort of settle on the sort of final story, you know, the beginning, the middle, the end, and the resolution?
Definitely, because when it started, it was a much bigger idea, and it wasn't really set in a lab. It was more kind of set in the world in general. But my tutor advised me to kind of take it down to one location, make it smaller, keep the story, but focus it to make it kind of doable in the time that I had. So I'm grateful for that, because I managed to just about get it all done. And it took a while to kind of design stuff, figure out the aliens look. And the story kind of had to figure out details, and it started very vague.
Super. Well, that's good. It's always, there's nothing wrong with being completely ambitious, but then it's always great when you can sort of simplify.
Yeah, you need to be kind of realistic and stuff.
But yeah, no, that is brilliant. Thank you, and again, well done on being shortlisted in the competition. Okay, thanks, Frank. Okay, over to Jess then. Hi, Jess. You're very welcome.
Hi. How are you guys doing?
All good. Everyone seems to be happy to be here, I think.
Yeah.
Good.
So, yeah, I made Let It Rain, which is a film about a young girl called Dyer during a deadly pandemic who comes down with the illness and is quarantined to kind of spend the rest of her remaining days. It's like early stages of this quarantine, so they don't have a vaccine yet. And in this quarantine, they come up with the buddy system, which is essentially a system that lets other kids talk to each other so they don't get lonely and everything. And this girl, Aya, is very depressed, obviously, because, you know, she's stuck in a room for the entirety of her life and stuff, and she's not going to have like a future and all that. So, but she meets a girl who has a mindset completely unlike herself and is like really happy and cheerful all the time. And she learns from this girl, Imogen, how to kind of live in the moment and in the face of the inevitable, just to kind of be happy and live, like, yeah, just live in the moment, really.
Super. And again, did the initial idea, was it all sort of executed during, completely based on, well, I suppose, inspired by lockdown as well?
Surprisingly, no.
Oh, really?
I had the story and everything completely sorted before Corona was even really a big thing. And it was inspired by an idea I had when I was a lot younger. But back then it was meant to be like this whole zombie apocalypse kind of thing. And after working on it, because it was my grad film, I like narrowed it down to just the realistic moments and the kind of, I guess, I don't really know what the word is for it, but the moments you share with people that are like kind of special but very regular, and everybody has them. But I loved seeing those in like video games and TV series and stuff where nothing big is happening and it's just two people living life, essentially. So I thought, you know, take out the zombie bits, nobody wants that, and just make it about these two girls.
Super. Well, that is brilliant, and a very at the end of the day, a universal thing that people can relate to.
Yeah.
So thank you. That is brilliant. Thanks a million. Great to get that little insight. Over to Beatriz now then. Hi, Beatriz. You're very welcome.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on being shortlisted. We're very proud of all of the films. So yeah, let us hear about your film and a little bit of insight to it.
Mm-hmm. So my film was also my grad film. Actually, I was in Jess's course. Hi.
Fantastic.
And so it was mostly done in 2019, a bit of 2018 too. And my film is Individual. And it's about a dream, because from the start I knew I wanted to do something about dreams, because I wanted to create a surreal atmosphere, and dreams creates that possibility. And so I started to think about which memories I had that could connect to dreams and create a good context. And I remembered when I was a kid, I had epilepsy. And I only had it when I was dreaming. So I had to do lots of electroencephalograms. So I decided that the story of my film would happen during an electroencephalogram. A girl dreams that she's inside her mind, exploring the different sections of her personality, like bizarre characters that mean some part of her, and spaces that are her senses or her sexuality, etc. And so yeah, basically it was that. The film ended up having a life of his own and transforming into something else, and because it's a bit surrealist, it can be interpreted in many ways. But yeah, that's it. That's the insight.
Well, that's incredible. And do you know what? There's no better thing than, I suppose, having a film that can be interpreted in different ways by different individuals and what experiences they have or what they can take away from it. So that's super as well, and well done on getting that produced, and you know, for going with that sort of style and genre as well, and that sort of story. So always really, really good to be inventive, and it certainly is very original and authentic. So well done. Thank you so much. And that's great. A double celebration for both yourself and Jess then in getting shortlisted in the competition. Hi, George. Thanks a million for joining us. Over to you then to talk to us about your film.
I've actually got I have 2 films in this competition.
Yes, you're in another category as well, isn't that right?
And a little bit embarrassing, I can't remember which one this is. Category is which?
Yes,
but,
yes. Well, I will let you know. Not a robot.
Okay, that's perfect. Not a robot is.
Does that ring a bell?
Yes, that's a film I made.
Good. Go for it.
Not a Robot is a film. It's a 1-minute film. It was actually made for a local film challenge. It just has to be 1 minute. And I was honestly just brainstorming for ideas that I could do in an extremely small amount of time, and I landed on a sci-fi premise because I was excited by the idea of making a whole set just out of old DVD player parts and things. And what I landed on was trying to think what situation could a robot get into, and then I thought, what if it tried to log in to something, and then you get that captcha message and you have to prove you're not a robot. I thought, what if an actual robot had to deal with that? And so this really glorified sci-fi premise took a hold of it, as if a robot was trying to break into a bank or something, and then it just says, I'm not a robot, and then he has to type it's mostly just a joke of how, not only how hard those puzzles are, but also the other extreme, that if we got to an age where robots were sentient and could steal your information, this tickle the street signs isn't going to protect us from. Yeah, so I just want to have fun with that idea, really. But I suppose that's mostly the inspiration. But I was really excited by the idea of doing a sci-fi premise, like I said, because I just wanted to make a really simple set and a simple character, but then really go to town on lighting and trying to make it cinematic with as little resources as possible. So it was a fairly short project to make, but it was really fun doing something so simple.
Super, yes, and definitely very cinematic, and actually a great testament to you as well, producing something in 1 minute, or not in 1 minute, but that is 1 minute duration, because that sometimes is very difficult. And even with the Young Filmmaker competition, the guidelines is that the films have to be under 10 minutes, and sometimes it's actually more difficult to get a film edited that is a short film, as opposed to having 30 minutes to go on and on and on with a story or with a film. So I think everyone's actually extra skilled at being able to produce films and make films that are just 10 minutes or under, and really hit the nail on the head. So that is brilliant. Thank you. Well, hopefully we'll see you in the next Zoom call on Thursday for your other category. Actually, on that, do you have that Zoom link okay for the Thursday?
Yes.
One? Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, I can remind you of that one. That's called Out with the Old.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Okay, George, thanks a million. Great. Well then, last but not least, over to Nunu. Thank you for joining us.
Hi there, sorry for being late. Greetings from Croatia. I'm here at the Zagreb Anima Fest. And thank you for having me and waiting for me.
Brilliant, no problem. It's great to have you. And is it Ala Nunu is your name, or is it Nunu?
It's Nunu. I go by Nunu. My full name is Ala Nunu Leszyńska. So okay. A bit easier.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, great to have you, Nunu, and thank you for being able to join in from Croatia. It's very exciting. So yes, tell us a little bit about the film and how it came to be for you.
Mm-hmm. The film you shortlisted is Ahead, and if you have a chance to see it, it's the title is a pun, because the story is about living with and as a headless person. This was my first year Royal College of Art film. And I've been struggling for a long time to finalize it in terms of sound, because my main premise of making the film was to make something that I would find interesting to watch, and that's something that would not necessarily be very personal. After I finished it, I saw that at least in the second category I failed, and so it took me a while to process it and to decide to release it, and so here we are. And the idea, I was really, when coming up with the idea, I was really looking forward into topics of a relationship that is very codependent, but where everyone wants best for themselves as same as the other person, but the only thing that they can actually achieve is stillness. And so I'm really there is my interpretation of the film, but I'm always looking forward into how people are interpreting it, because one of the other main goals was to create a story that would not start on paper from words. I wanted to start with images and see where they lead me, and then while creating images, telling myself the story and finding out what will happen to the characters, not necessarily creating this for them actively.
Excellent, and that really is a very innovative approach to have taken with it, and it's brilliant to do that and to challenge yourself and you know, even just challenge audience members as well, you know, watching that type of a film that has been formulated like that.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.